On December 14, 1911, human beings stood in a place no one had ever stood before. No cities, no borders, no life, only ice, wind, and silence. This was the South Pole, the coldest, most unforgiving point on Earth. The man who led the journey was Roald Amundsen, a Norwegian explorer who believed that survival was not about bravery alone, but about preparation, discipline, and respect for nature. But this moment was not just an achievement. It was the end of a race and the beginning of a tragedy. At the same time Amundsen was moving south, another man was racing toward the same destination. His name was Captain Robert Falcon Scott, a respected officer of the British Royal Navy. For Scott, this was about national pride. For Amundsen, it was about winning. Both men wanted to be remembered forever. Only one would return alive. Amundsen prepared in silence. He studied Arctic peoples, especially the Inuit. He learned how they dressed, how they traveled, how they survived cold that could kill in minutes. He chose sled dogs, not horses. He wore fur, not heavy wool. He mapped supply depots with extreme precision, measuring distances again and again. Every decision Amundsen made had one purpose: to reduce suffering and eliminate uncertainty. Scott made different choices. He relied on ponies which struggled in deep snow. He used early motor sledges which failed quickly. His clothing trapped moisture, slowly freezing his body from the inside. Scott believed human endurance would overcome nature. Nature disagreed. As the weeks passed, Amundsen's team moved steadily forward. They faced blizzards, frostbite, and endless white emptiness, but their system worked. Then, on December 14, 1911, Amundsen and 4 companions arrived. There was no cheering crowd, no applause, just a flag planted into ice. Amundsen calmly took measurements, confirmed his position, and raised the Norwegian flag. He named the Camp Polheim home at the pole. Then he did something remarkable. He left a tent behind, with a letter inside in case Scott arrived later. Weeks later, Scott did arrive. When Scott reached the South Pole in January 1912, he saw the flag. He knew immediately that he had lost. In his journal, Scott wrote words filled with heartbreak, exhaustion, and quiet despair. Scott and his men turned back weak, starving, and freezing. They never made it home. Scott, Edward Wilson, Henry Bowers, Lawrence Oates, and Edgar Evans all died on the return journey, trapped by storms and hunger only miles from safety. When the world learned what had happened, emotions were divided. Amundsen was praised for his success, but Scott became a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and tragic failure. This moment changed how humanity approached exploration. It taught the world that courage without preparation can be deadly, that pride can blind even good men, and that nature does not reward intention, only understanding. The positive lesson is clear. Knowledge saves lives. The negative lesson is painful. Mistakes echo forever. The South Pole was not conquered by strength alone. It was conquered by humility, planning, and respect for reality. And that lesson still matters today in leadership, in science, and in how we face the unknown. Because history is not old. History is living inside us. One day, one event, one lesson. Mr. Feedy,